to transition now to Melissa Smith. Melissa is the founder and CEO of the Association of Virtual Assistants. She's also the Virtual Assistant Matchmaker, and she's going to talk about hiring a valuable virtual assistant. Melissa, take it away.
Thank you so much. All right, so what we'll be covering today, we're going to cover how to find value. And this is so important because in a world where virtual assistants are written about almost on a daily basis, you have companies like Fast Company, Forbes, Inc., Entrepreneur. We've been labeled genies in a bottle, and yet people are still thinking, gosh, I guess I could hire a virtual assistant, but I don't know, I'm just doing it myself. And, the things that they're listing, that just doesn't, fit me. Well, that means you haven't found value in that, right? We buy things, we spend money on things, we hire people where we find value. So I'm going to tell you how to find that value, and then hiring for value. If you want to get that return on your investment, you need to hire for value, and a VA is definitely a return on your investment. And then, of course, how to attract candidates that value you and your company. This is not a one-way street. You don't want to just hire someone who doesn't care and who doesn't also reciprocate that value. You want someone who says, wow, I really value working for this company. I really value their mission. I value what they are doing. And I'm going to teach you how to write a job description to attract those candidates as well. Now, you may have seen my bio. Here's some things about me, but often one thing you won't find is that the number one thing that I am quoted on is money. So I am quoted on money more than any other topic. And that may seem strange since I'm not in finance. I'm in virtual assistants. But it's because hiring a virtual assistant is an investment. And when you understand that and understand how to get that ROI out of it, it makes it very, very important who you hire, when you hire, how long you hire for. And that's what I uncover for my clients. We don't just look to hire a virtual assistant because someone in a magazine told them that they should be hiring someone to answer their emails. If that's not valuable to you, then don't hire for it. What I do is I unlock the value of what is valuable to that client and then match them accordingly, and the ROI is significant. So how to find value? It has to be valuable to you. And I know that I've already said this, but over and over and over again, people are told you need to hire a VA. Here's what I use my VA for. Here's all the ways that VAs can help you. And yet nothing is sinking in. It doesn't really hit home. And so what happens? No one hires the VA, and you keep on doing things that you don't want to do. You have feelings that you don't want to feel. And that's because you don't know the reason why a VA would be valuable to you. And so here are the top 10 reasons why you would hire a virtual assistant. The first is to keep in touch with the 70-30 principle. And so the 70-30 principle is you should spend 70% of your daily time on the things that only you can do in your business. So maybe that's revenue generation, sales, client work, writing a book, thinking about who you're going to hire next, thinking what the future of your business looks like. 70% of your time should be spent on those things. Now, the other 30% of that time is the cost of doing business. Yes, eventually you are going to have to answer an email. The best assistant is not going to be able to draft the email response that only you can for only that client that you know. You might have to sign documents. You might even spend some of that time with your VA. All those things are just the cost of doing business, but you want to make sure that that split is never out of balance with that 70-30 time. The next is that you're wasting time instead of using it wisely. So this is a question that I ask on all my consultations. And when I ask, is any time wasted in your day? I usually get two responses. And the first is, no, I absolutely have no time to waste in my business. And the second is, yes, I procrastinate a lot. I'm not using it wisely, but actually both individuals are doing the same thing, right? They are both not spending their time wisely, even if they aren't wasting their time, because they're doing things that someone else can do. It doesn't have to be them doing it. Now, the person that tends to suffer more is the person who is procrastinating because they're just banking up that time and time debt, which is the third thing that you have to watch out for. Now, again, I discussed time debt in depth in my last presentation, but time debt is simply having a certain amount of time blocked out on your calendar. We can call it your budget. And instead of using it for what you blocked it out for, you actually give it to another task, assignment, duty, priority. And when you do that, you start accumulating time debt. And the thing about time debt is it's not like money debt, right? We have a budget for our money. If we get into debt, maybe we're using credit cards or something like that, but then we get this big client and everything gets paid off. That doesn't happen with time debt. With time debt, you start moving those things around and you never get that time back. It doesn't magically appear later. You can always make more money, but you can't ever make more time. So eventually you're going to have another space on your calendar where you wanted to do something and you weren't able to do it because now that activity that you move from here to here, it's just there now. And this doesn't include, well, it does include, but not for the purposes of business, but you can have time debt that you don't get to pay back for missed birthdays, holidays, anniversaries, vacations. That time never comes back. So you really need to be careful if you're in time debt. Opportunity costs. How much is it costing you not to take advantage of opportunities that are in front of you right now? So whether you're saying, I can't even imagine taking on another client because I can't manage the workload that I have now. I can't imagine having time to stop and write that book. No, I can't speak at that event. No, I can't take on another client. I mean, all these things over and over and over again. You think about, wow, if I only had an evergreen course, if I could only do this one thing and then I could send clients over there as well and I could free up more of my time. Every time that you're not taking advantage of an opportunity is a real problem in your business for both future proofing and being relevant. You need to get it out into the world and you need to take advantage of opportunities because they won't always be there. No time to deliberately practice your skills. And this is important because no one is in an industry that is not rapidly changing. I don't care what industry you're in. I don't even care if you don't participate in the changes that are happening around you. You need to know what is going on. For me, part of being deliberate about my skills and my knowledge and what's going on in my world is professional development around everything that's hiring, whether it's in-person hiring, remote hiring, VA hiring, you name it. The predictions of the future, it's my job to know all of those things. And then it's also my job to either hire someone to help me gain the skills, gain some perspective, know how I'm going to transform my business in the future, know what steps I need to be taking now to get there. But if I just go heads down and I'm not practicing my skills, my leadership skills, my development, my company, then pretty much the future is going to pass me by. And who knows if I will even have a business in the future. Number 6 really resonates with me. This is one that I find a lot of value in. So when I get bogged down in work, I just feel like there's this weight on my shoulders and it's hard for me to relax. It's hard for me to sleep. It's hard for me to enjoy my time off. So a lot of the value that I find in virtual assistants are those who are able to lift that weight so that I know when I need things to get done and I'm not working and I don't want to do it, someone else is doing it. Number 7, remove words from your vocabulary. So if you find yourself saying, I wish I would have, I wish I could have, I should have done this. Please forgive me for taking so long to answer this email. My apologies for the delay in this email. All those types of words and phrases and terminology, if you're saying those things all the time and feeling that way all the time, there is a better way. You don't need to be doing that. You don't need to have that guilt and be so apologetic about everything. This is a big one, particularly for females, and we're trying to get rid of this apology culture. But it's hard when you're literally ignoring people's emails and ignoring people's requests because you're too busy. So you really are feeling apologetic and you need help. Number 8, you're wearing too many hats. Now, some people will say, oh, I love doing it all. I love doing all the things. I like knowing what's happening in my business. I like having my hands in all the doors. It's what makes me a better manager. What makes me really understand and know everything that's going on in my company. And that's not true. It's absolutely not true. When you're wearing too many hats, you're constantly context switching. When you're acting like the CEO of the business, you have people reporting to you and people are giving you the status updates. You're having regular meetings. So you still know what's going on. You're still able to manage, but you don't have your hand in all of these things. Context switching requires 40% of your productive time. 40%. That is a lot of time to be wasting every time you context switch. It's just massive. I mean, that number, for anyone who cares about efficiency and thinks that, oh, yes, I'm super efficient, but I do all the things, you are basically lying to yourself. I don't know another way to put it, but you shouldn't be wearing that many hats. It's crushing your productivity time. It's crushing what you could be doing. You're not acting as a CEO. So there's a saying, either you have an assistant or you are the assistant. You can't have it both ways. You need to be the CEO, and the CEO's job, no matter how big your company, no matter how small your company, everyone has the same job as a CEO. And that is 1, to future-proof your business, and 2, to hire the right people. Those are your 2 jobs as a CEO that never change, no matter what industry, no matter how big or small your company is. And if you're not doing those things on a regular basis, then you're not really acting like a CEO, and you're more the assistant of your business. And then the last one, you've done this work before. If you're doing things that you've done over and over and over again, this is a huge waste of your time. You need processes and systems in place, and a VA can assist you with that. There is no reason that you have to continue to do things that have already been done. We know they're done the same way. We have a process already. We just don't have a system in place. And so that is where a VA comes in. Now, you may identify a little bit with every single one on here. That's okay. But it's important to narrow it down to the top 3. So you take the top 3, and this is what you find truly valuable with your time. So like I said, for me, 1, I need that immediate impact of someone to lift the weight. So that's number 1. I find value in those people. What else? I want to be the CEO of my business. I'm very, very concerned about the future of my business and where it's going and how much time I have to write and how much time I have to be in my professional development. And that goes to number 5. So when I hire a VA, I'm going to find someone who's really valuable to me because they are a take charge kind of person. They understand that if I'm not doing the things to future-proof my business, then I'm not happy. And also, am I not happy, but I feel very weighed down and I feel really burdened by that. So now I know where to find the value in that person. And that could be any of these 3. So maybe if it's for you, you've done this work before, you're wasting time instead of using it wisely, the 70-30 principle resonated with you. Maybe for you, it's more about systems and processes. That's the kind of VA that you're going to find value in, someone who can really get things running seamlessly. That way things automatically happen and you don't have to think about them anymore. So hiring for value, right? So we know we found the value. How do we hire for the value? Well, to know what's valuable, first we have to start off with your hourly rate. It always starts with you. And even if you don't have an hourly rate, you're like, oh, I haven't used an hourly rate in years, I do package pricing, there's a way to break down that price to make it in an hourly form. And it's really important that you know this because one, you have to know how expensive you are as your own assistant. You also need to know what portion of that budget that you want to take out and allocate to an assistant. The next thing that you want to know is how you measure success. So if you measure success by how many hours you're billing for, how many client appointments you have on your calendar every day. Maybe it's how much time you're not spending at work. You need to be able to look at your calendar and say, wow, my measure of success, I'm not living up to it right now. So how and where can I hire a VA to give me back that value? And then knowing how much time is wasted in your day. Again, looking back to think, wow, I done an hour of work here. That was super expensive. I could have hired someone else to do that for a fraction of what I would pay myself to have done it. You want to know where you generate income. Because if you know that and you can spend more time doing it, then maybe one next contract is the entire contract that pays for your VA and then some for an entire year. But you have to understand that, or else it just feels like an expense that you can't afford. When you know that it's not that you're hiring a VA and you're going to be paying someone more money to do something that you've already done yourself, that's not how that works. You're paying someone to do the thing that's not a good use of your time so that you do have a good use of your time and can do other things with it, whether that's taking time off or whether that's generating more income. And then where do you see yourself in 3 years? What you're doing today determines where you will be in 3 years. And if the future is valuable to you and you have big plans for the future, it can't be just a vision. It has to be an actual plan. It has to be mapped out at the places that you're going to hire, at the places that you're going to hire a VA. Maybe it's a manager, maybe it's a production team, maybe it's a product developer. Whatever that is, you cannot continue to do it all yourself and think suddenly in 3 years, you're going to end up at this magical place that you did not plan for, and then suddenly have the time and the energy and the money and the resources to hire someone. If you don't plan for the future and you just allow it to happen to you, we don't even know if you're going to be in business at that time. So it's very important to map it all out. At what point are you going to get off that hamster wheel and actually decide that your time is too valuable to do the things that someone else can do and are no longer a use of your time, that don't add up to your measure of success, that don't measure up to your hourly rate, and don't contribute to what your long-term goals are, even just for the next 3 years. So those of you who are thinking, wow, I just have been doing it all myself. I don't know if I even have 5 minutes to train someone else at this point. This is not, good for me. It's just easier. Maybe I'm just too far in. No, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The next best time is now. And that includes hiring a virtual assistant. And so in order to attract that person who values you, it's really simple. First, you're going to position this as a great opportunity because it is. So don't start with all the fluff. You actually want to emphasize in the thing that you don't enjoy doing, the thing that you feel someone else won't enjoy doing. Because remember, no matter how great you are, no matter how great your company is, this is the thing that the VA is going to be doing the majority of the time. In fact, when I match clients, I don't even list the company or the person. It's all anonymous. I'm literally attracting that person because they say, this is the work that I love to do. And then show how the VA will make a positive impact. Everyone wants to make a positive impact. So if it's like, you're going to hit my goals, my measures of success, I'm going to take time off now that I have you, all those matter. Create a job title that identifies who the VA is. So if you're in the C-suite, So you need someone who works in the C-suite. If you're a creative and you need someone who can herd cats, say that. You will attract those people. And then, of course, we want to match for company culture. So share why you and the company are great to work with, and really why you would love to work with the VA as well. This includes any social outreach, community outreach, causes that you back if you're a green company, how you're helping the planet, anything like that will, again, attract the VA that's like, wow, this is the work that I get to do, and here's the larger impact that I'm making. All these things are all about value, and we hit every side of the coin when you do it this way. And it plays into long-term retention, which we all know is super valuable to your business. So I know that was a lot of information and short amount of time, but there you have it.
Absolutely, Melissa. Thank you so much for cramming so much in a short period of time. And the major takeaway, I mean, you kind of emphasized it without saying it the whole time, is that it's, stop looking at it as a a time expense. Look at it as a time investment,
That's
that
right.
will pay off by hiring a VA. So, thank you for taking the time.